Hello. I hope you've been enjoying learning with me about social emotional development. Learning something new won't matter if we don't know how to apply that new something. I'm Dr. Rebecca Reynolds, known to you as Dr. Rebecca. Thank you for being here in my third training about social emotional development. Every child will develop social emotional or SE skills. SE skills can be both good and challenging. Of course, there is a bit of subjectiveness towards the meaning of good SE skills. Let's remember the definition that was established in the first 9-minute training. Social skills plus emotional control equals social emotional development. With this being said, how can teachers and parents help children with their social emotional development? Well, to answer this question, this training will take you through 3 steps to include into your daily routine. Steps in how to determine what SE skills are challenging for the children. Through step number 1, assess through observation. Then we will go through step number 2, a few simple activities that can be a regular part of your daily interactions. Oh, and of course, step number 3, strategies on how to react to an emotionally charged child. Okay, it's time to just dive right in. Good social emotional development is reliant in creating and maintaining relationships. Don't forget that positive social interaction creates positive cognitive development. When assessing, make sure to observe how the children 1. Express themselves, 2. Recognize, and 3. Manage their own emotions. Because social emotional development is intertwined and connected with motor skills, cognition, language, and social interactions, all should be assessed to ensure a full understanding of each child's needs. For the sake of limited time, I have listed some great resources after this presentation to help with assessment in each area. Because social interaction and emotional development are so intertwined, they cannot be separated for the sake of this training. You may also find that many researchers and teachers will often place emotional needs and social needs together for much better understanding. The 3 main components to look for include expression, recognition, and the ability to manage emotions. While observing, including these 3 components that are typically on full display in the classroom. It's all fine and good to know what to look for, but really, how do you apply observation into the assessment? Here is a small list for you to consider. Observation is this author, Dr. Rebecca's, first choice for assessment for social emotional skills. By observing, teachers and parents can take special note to what they see and hear. All observations should be as non biased as possible. Observations need to consider several things. Social context. Social context is the what happened, the actual details of the social situation. Try to understand the specifics of the perspective of each child involved. What happened? Who was involved? Observation also needs to consider the situation. Recognize when and why and how. By recognizing the when, why, and how children are struggling, you will be able to find a way that you can help each child develop their social emotional skills. Social context gives the reason for children's internal thought, giving children independent control over managing their own emotions. If a child is old enough to express thought verbally, it may be simple enough to ask probing questions such as why, But a trick is to really listen to what the child's answer is. A child may be crying hard because she was hurt physically or emotionally. Either way, make sure to give the message to the child that you do care by listening and empathizing. Verbal and nonverbal reactions, expression and internalization. Language gives the tools to express our thoughts, even before verbal language is fully developed. An example of this could include a young toddler. Let me paint a picture for you. A 14-month-old is sitting in his chair while reaching for your plate. His hand is clawing at the table slowly, getting closer, but not quite reaching that plate. He then turns to you and makes a high-pitched sound from his throat towards your direction. By observation, it may be easy to understand that this toddler is hungry for the food on your plate, even though this child did not form actual words. He was able to communicate non-verbally by reaching and verbally by making a high-pitched noise to get what he wanted. There will be times when you personally do not believe that the child's situation is in enough of an emergency to deal with at that moment. If this is the case, you may inadvertently non-verbally communicate to the child that he does not matter, even if this is not your intention. Well, if we go back to our example of the 14-month-old, you can use your words to ask, "Oh, would you like some food? Are you hungry?" By doing this, you are giving him language context, which can give him words to practice for what he needs in order to ask for food. Okay, you have observed. Now what? What do we do with the information? How do we gather it? If you're working with children, make sure to document in two different sections. First, write down exactly what you see and what you hear. Then, write your opinions and your assessments. This format can help create documentation that you can use to plan future lessons and to communicate with families. Step number 2, daily interactions. As noted in a previous training, social emotional development, well, it is connected to future mental health. With this known, we have the ability to instill in our children the skills needed to develop healthy social emotional connections that will influence their adult mental health. Making social emotional development a regular part of every child's day can be challenging for any adult, especially adults who struggle with their own social emotional needs. Here are 3 methods known to help assist in developing good social emotional skills in our children. Number 1, take care of yourself. What? Yeah, I said it. By caring for yourself, not only will you be healthy and energetic enough to work with kids, but you will also be setting a good example. Taking care of yourself includes mind, body, and spirit. Of course, the actions needed for this? Well, the list is long. Proper sleep, good nutrition, keep a clean environment and clean clothes, socialize, pray, meditate. Those things always help. Wash your hands regularly. Get regular medical checkups. Take time to just relax. This list could go on and on. Don't be shy with it. Invite your kids to participate. For example, invite them for yoga. Kids love yoga. Invite them to cook. It's a science activity and they will love it. Step number 2. Okay, learn how to listen and observe without bias. This is really not an easy ask. Bias gets in the way. But if we are to make a difference in the lives of the children that we care for, we must come to where they are in their thinking without using our own experiences to make assumptions. What we consider common sense is only common sense to those who have the same experience. For example, it may be common sense to most of the children in your classroom to not hit a classmate. Now you have a new child entering the room with a big brother who hits. You will need to help guide this child in how to best communicate without hitting. You will need to do this with structure, patience, and at the developmental level of this child. Simply saying words like, don't hit, well, they're not likely to work. When observing the child in this example, document what you see, hear, before, during, and immediately following each hitting episode. Once you have several documentations, take a look. You may find out that this child hits only in reaction to other children showing disrespect. You may find out that this child doesn't respond to children who try to talk to this new child, forming an opinion that your new child may need a hearing test. Well, by not assuming or letting bias interfere, we can locate a possible reason for this child's actions, and then we have the ability to create an actual plan to help this child adjust to the new room full of children. A third idea or method for your classroom: create fun and respect. An environment of fun and respect, that is. Sounds great, doesn't it? Well, this begins with you, the teacher, coach, principal, parent. Okay, let's just say any responsible adult who is responsible for children. Create a fun and respectful environment. How? By being a good example. Treat the children and other adults in their lives with respect. The trick really is how to do this when your day is not going well or as planned, which does happen. Children learn from directly observing us, the adults, our behavior. A few ideas for this are next located in the strategies. But to start creating a fun and respectful environment, well, this begins with the adults. Kids will follow our lead. Well, here we are, finally at strategies. Step number 3. The first strategy: apologize. Yeah, another one I said. I've heard many adults insist that children apologize when they do something that impact another person negatively. Why should we not set an example of how and when to do this? Kids learn by directly observing us. Strategy number 2: use good manners, even when the kids are not using good manners themselves. Again, another opportunity to show through example the best way to learn the polite ways to use our language skills. Strategy number 3: play with the kids and have fun. I've had to argue with many throughout the years that I do not babysit, I teach. Having fun with the kids is not only allowed but vital to helping them develop a healthy set of social emotional skills. Then will later turn into a healthy mental aptitude. Playing with the kids gives more opportunities to show the proper ways to implement good manners, apologies, and other things like turn taking and dealing with the stress of things like sharing and friendship. Also worthy of noting that when we play with the kids, they will form bonds with us that will help them to feel more important, thus creating in them a sense of needing our approval. This need will help to create thought provoking ideas of how to behave and to gain the respect of the adults in their lives, a first step into learning social emotional problem solving skills. Well, to summarize, this final and third training gave 3 concrete steps into how we can implement real life activities into the lives of the children we teach and live with every day. Step number 1: observe. How do the kids express, recognize, and manage their own emotions? Step number 2: learn observation and listening skills. Key to this is without bias. Use observation and listening skills to help guide how to best communicate while emotional, with structure, patience, and at the developmental level of this child. When observing, document what you see and hear before, during, and immediately following each questionable episode. Without letting bias interfere, locate a reason for observed behaviors. Then create a plan to help any child make behavior adjustments. Create a classroom of fun and respect. Be a good example. Treat the children and other adults in their lives with respect. Finally, step number 3: implement daily strategies. Apologize. Yes, kids learn directly by observing us. Strategy number 2: use good manners. Just another opportunity to show through our example. Strategy number 3: play with the kids. Have fun. Having fun with the kids is actually vital to helping them develop healthy social emotional skills that will later turn into healthy mental aptitude. Playing with the kids will help them form bonds with us that will make them feel important, creating thought provoking ideas of how to behave and to gain the respect of the adults in their own lives. A first step into learning social emotional problem solving skills. We must always remember that to be an effective caretaker, teacher, coach, parent, taking care of yourself is a very vital step to being emotionally available to the children in your life. Wow, that was a lot of information. But honestly, there is a lot more out there. For the sake of time, this synopsis includes strategies that incorporate the class or group of kids as a whole. Following the referenced material in this presentation, you will find a small resource list to help assess each development domain, as promised earlier in this training. It was a great pleasure working with you. I look forward to possibly working with you further. Have a great day.